from the age of 13, I was dead set on being in a band, and like, I mean, my dad was a musician as well. I think when I left school, I went to do an art and design foundation course. I left after a year because I wanted to buy a scooter, so I packed it in to get a job that would pay enough for me to get a scooter. But it kind of like, it didn't matter to me, because I was thinking, well, it's okay, because I was in a band, and I was thinking, well, I'm going to make it in the band anyway, so I don't need to go to art college. I was in various bands in Liverpool till I was about 22, and then I suppose it was just more of just not getting anywhere. And I said to the lads that were in the band with me, I said, I'm just going to go and sit on a mountain somewhere and be surrounded by goats. And I was like, I don't care, I just want to get away. And like, so one of the lads who was in the band said, I'll come with you. I've spoken to this bloke who's got a lorry, and he's going to give us a lift. So it was like, okay, well, Paris is a good enough place to start. And then it became, Paris is a good enough place just to end up. And we went there, and we took £100 and stayed in a hostel for 3 nights. After that, the £100 ran out, and it was like, oh my God, we're going home. But we had a guitar. We took one guitar with us. We'd never done it before, but we thought, well, we'll give Busking a go. So we went and stood in a metro station, and we played for about an hour, and we got £1 which was the equivalent of 10 pence. And it was like, oh my God, we're going home. We're no good at this. We can't do it. And we told these people in the youth hostel, and they were like, oh no, you're doing it all wrong. And they showed us what to do, which was like, get on the metro, the trains themselves, and we managed to stay there. It wasn't like that we were tired of Paris, but it was quite tiring doing the busking, because you were always looking over your shoulder whether you were going to get pinched by the police, or some of the sort of low life. And anyway, we went back to Liverpool, but Liverpool was like really grim in the early and mid 80s, and so thought, well, is there anywhere in England that is most like Paris? So we thought, well, London. Right, so we go to London, and I was always doing something creative. Like, there was a time when I fancied myself as an actor. The Smiths had just broken up, and this play was written by a Smiths fan who used a lot of the lyrics from their songs to create this play. So we did a performance of it, and Morrissey came, which was a bit of a big deal to me at the time, because I loved the Smiths. And around that time as well, I was like, I'd started going to life drawing, because we were living in a squat. Well, I don't know if it was because we were living in a squat, but my painting was getting quite everything was getting big, and quite expressive, and certainly not like the stuff I do now. And I tell people now when I'm teaching classes, like, sometimes you fool yourself thinking this is the work I want to produce, when it's not. It's the work that you're able to produce. But I was definitely telling myself at the time that what I was doing was what I wanted to do. I look back at it now and I think, no, it wasn't. It was because I wasn't good enough. Sail across the sky, but I cannot deny, running on
Ontario, fly high across the sea, only to be in London, Ontario. Whoa.
I was in this band called Spider Mouse, and that was ended up being the best band I'd ever been in. You know, it was really creative, really good band, tight knit. You know, and all of us were from Merseyside, and but we'd met in London. You know, we didn't know each other down there, up there. A mate of mine who was a musician had started doing this course. It involved bringing together digital music, digital art, film, and I'd never had a computer. You know, like, I mean, this was 96, so I went and did an MA in digital media, and I remember, like, on the day of, you know, we had to introduce ourselves, first day of class or something, and everyone's like, oh, well, I want to do it because, you know, I'm going to further my career and it's really exciting where digital media is going. And I was like, I don't want a job out of it. I just want to, I'm just interested in bringing these things together and seeing what it'll do. Web design, CD-ROM design, animation, and I worked on games for Doctor Who and other BBC programs. There was one where it was part of a light festival in Derby called Gleam, and I did this piece where it was projected on Derby Cathedral, and then I did another couple of really big sort of like animation projection jobs. But around that time, I'd started going to life drawing again, and I was getting dissatisfied with working on a computer. Partly because I was just sick of always running to stand still, you know, like, because the software kept changing and upgrading, and you'd have to relearn the same thing over and over and over again. I just got, you know, I got fed up with that. And then the other thing was, like, although I was working creatively and I, you know, supposedly had free reign, I didn't. You know, I always had to have somebody else's eye over it and decide whether it was good enough or if it fit the bill or not. And I just got tired of that as well. And I felt like that I'd sort of, I suppose, like, I'd lost a bit of myself, you know, like when I was doing the digital stuff, because I was, I suppose, like, doing things that I didn't agree with, or not agree with, but, you know, enjoy for the sake of getting some money in, but also because I'd felt disconnected from me, whatever it was that made me, I felt disconnected from it. So I thought, right, I'm going to go right back to basics. So for 2 years, I just drew with a 4B pencil. And then after that, I started introducing charcoal. So I drew with charcoal then for about 2 years. Always with one eye on oil painting, because that was something I'd never really done. I suppose, yeah, I just didn't realise how long it would take to get any good at it. And also, then, never mind becoming, like, proficient, then good, but then also getting somewhere in the art world is, like, it's just so difficult. there was no quick solution to, there's no shortcuts. And once I realised that, I became more comfortable with it, and I'm okay with it now. It's kind of like it moves at a glacial pace, but it's moving. And I definitely feel like last year, was a good year, and that I can see progress, And around the time I was becoming aware of a movement, of towards like realism, and there were academies and ateliers sort of springing up around the world, and Juliet Aristides was a big name in that world, and she'd brought out a few books, and I got her books. I discovered that she was doing a workshop in Liverpool, and I thought, oh my God, I've got to go. And I thought, even if I don't get on the workshop, like, I'm going to just go and hang out and bump it, deliberately bump into her. And when it was going on, I was like, I can do this. I can, and I got talking to the person who was organising it, and I said, well, I can organise one for you. And so she was the first person who I organised a workshop for. So I started doing that, and I've had like some really big names, really brilliant artists doing workshops for me. I didn't want to, like, go and work in a pub and, not have time to be connected to the art. So it was like anything that was connected to art, it was okay by me. So one of the things that I organised, and I still do now, is called PubScrawl. And I had this idea. I remember like being in a pub with a mate, and I had this idea, and I was thinking, oh my God, I could franchise this. Like, I haven't done it, and I've never charged anyone to do it. I take everyone on a pub crawl, and we draw a model in each pub. There's something about painting someone from life that you can't recreate. I don't think you can recreate from a photograph. And it's partly because, like, there's an interaction. Someone was saying about a drawing from life or painting from life is not about capturing a moment in time, but it's about capturing a period of time. There's so much going on in the face anyway, and it's easy to tell when it doesn't look like a particular person. But I don't, really, I'm not that bothered about that. I'm more bothered about it being a good painting. It's like when you do a class, or a workshop or something, and there's several people painting one person, and all these pictures are different, and yet they can all somehow capture the person in front of them. There is no one defining moment which is, that's me. There's loads of different moments, isn't there? And I think that's what a painting over like from life and over time, it captures better than a photograph. So that's why I prefer painting from life. That's where the essence of somebody is. I'm not put off trying to get a likeness. So I teach at South Hill Park, and I teach life drawing, and I teach portrait painting. A lot of people tell themselves they can't paint portraits, or they can't do faces, or I don't know how to do a nose. And it's like, well, don't treat it like a nose. Treat it like a shape. if you can detach yourself enough to actually just put down what you're seeing, then I know a lot of the time in like portrait class, I'll you know I'll go around and people will be doing these eyes, and I'm like, can you actually see that? And they're like, well, no, but I know it's there. And you're like, well, if you can't see it, don't put it. Like I'll often set up the light in the room so that we get strong shadows because it's easier. And so I know that quite often, like they definitely can't see, eyelashes and things like that, and yet they'll put it in, yeah. Paintings of people, um, it stand the test of time much more than anything else, I think, because because we can still relate to paintings of people from centuries ago, and because it's that human connection. You can certainly see in some portraits, like a look in the eye that you can empathise with what they're going through, or you get some kind of inkling about who they are.